Well, buongiorno, Max here again, welcome back to the shop. So today's video, wonder if we'll get it all done in one part, probably not, can't see it. We are going to be making a part to change out our multi-fix tool holder on our JFMT lathe to our Italian Algra Tool Post. So we need to make a new mounting stud for it. So I want to run the Algra just to see how it goes. So we'll swing it down to the bench and let's have a look at our plan of attack. So that is the make of the tool post we will be using, and it does come with a good set of drawings on how the thing should be mounted and quite a good list of instructions. However, they're all written in Italian, so well, I've been watching Inspector Rex in Rome, trying to pick up on my Italian. Well, that didn't help much. It's a good show though. So anyway, we're going to machine that. So I've come up with this. So the top half is the same as the Algra stud that's provided with the tool post, and the bottom half is to suit our JFMT top slide or compound slide. Now I could do this two ways. I can machine all this out of pieces solid, or I could just machine this part separate, modify this and press one into the other with a bit of a top hat sort of a fashion going on so the thing wouldn't pull out. That's actually not a bad way to do it, so could go either way. But I want to get a fair bit of running time on our JFMT lathe so we can start fine-tuning it, its accuracies or inaccuracies or issues or non-issues or whatever's going on with it. We need to know the lathe, we need to get to know it, and we don't at this stage. And the only way we're going to do that is with a fair bit of running time. So we're going to make this out of one piece of material. So this piece of steel here is 80mm diameter round bar of unknown, well, semi-unknown origin. I know where it's come from. It used to be a bucket pin, a dog bone pin out of a 30-ton excavator. So that means because they had were running quick hitches, this is not a hardened pin. So I've just cut the ends off because they oxy-cut the ends to get it out of the bucket, because where it attaches to the bucket ears was must have been all munted over. They couldn't get it out, so they had to cut it. So this will be well, let me rephrase that. This should be quite a reasonable grade of steel. You would sort of generally make these out of 4140. So, but like this is totally unknown. So we'll see what it's like when we start machining it. They don't make them out of mild steel. Well, they shouldn't anyway. There's probably a couple of countries that probably do, but generally we don't. So let's get this chucked up in the lathe, and we'll get a centre in one end. We'll hold the other end with the 4-jaw, and we've got a fair bit to take off. This is 80mm. We've got to come down to 64.6. It's only for a little bit, and the rest then has to come down to 18mm. So there's a lot of material removal, which is what we need for our JFMT lathe to help everything get settled in. I'll just go handheld for a sec. This is that piece of tubing that we were playing around with the other day. I didn't actually video the completion of it. Remember, we had to tidy up the square thread, which looked like that, and made it fit that. Then we had to do a bit of a nip and tuck to make 1 out of 2. So yeah, this has been cut and joined here, and I did that with a sleeve, a tubular sleeve, and then it has 2 pins going through that are also welded in for a mechanical connection. I'll just give you a shot. It actually came out rather well. I'll give you a quick shot now with it running in the lathe. So yeah, after all the welding, we come out. Well, I think it was only 7th hour, so which is quite good. You could get the 7th hour out with a bit of heat straightening, but it's not worth it it's not required for what this part does. So here's a quick shot of it in the lathe. I think I'll just take the rest of that down with a sander, and that'll do it. So it's still got a bit of heat in it, still quite warm that. So we're measuring 190 millimeters away from our weld, and we're running on 7th hour run out. That's actually pretty good. So we'll let that cool right off, and then we'll know for sure. Okay, that's cooled off now, so nothing's changed. We're still running on 7th hour. This is a 1/2 hour graduated indicator, so I'm happy with that. Just check our length that we need, which was 218. Somewhere around there. Looks good to me. Just snip these down with a cheater bar. Yeah, the handles on some of these chuck keys are just way too short. So we do need to make up a new chuck key for this one. Should be running good, no need to indicate it. Spot on. Let's let's just have a quick look, see how far out we were actually. It's going to be all over the shop a bit because yeah, it's just a bit of round black bar, so we can only do it in 4 points. We've got 0, 3th hour, 0, 3. Pretty good straight off the bat. Just flicks up to 4 there. Yeah, you have a win every now and then. So this will give the material the support it will require. One thing on my shopping list is a good heavy duty revolving centre for this machine, number 4 MT. So at the moment we've just got a number 3 and a 3 to 4 sleeve. When I go to buy one, I want to get a reasonable quality one, not just the cheap crap ones. We'll just bring our tool back to the end of the bar, and we need to make sure we've got, let's wipe the shit out of it. Make sure your centre drill hole is clean, you haven't got a lump of swarfin from drilling it. And keep this quill up as short as practicable, which is right there. Smashing out a few trains today on the train line over the back there. Okay. So as we've got no idea what sort of material this is, we're just going to turn it at 500 RPM. We'll start off with a 10th hour feed rate and an 80 millimetre 80 thousandths of an inch or 2 millimetre depth of cut. So that'll be 4 mil off the diameter, or 160 thou and imperial 2/8 of 16. We'll see how that goes. So we'll wind in our cross slide to 2 millimeters and see how it reacts. That was no problem whatsoever. Let me just check our final dimension that we have to take this to. Yeah, so we've got 10 millimeters to come off from here. So I've just increased our cut another millimeters to end feed of 3 millimeters, 120 thou. So that's a 6 mil off the diameter. We'll keep the same speed and feed and rock on. Okay, we've got 9 mil to come off the diameter, so another 3 mil cut. So this will take 6 millimeters from the diameter. So we're at 68 mil diameter. We have to finish this at 65, so 3 mil diameter. So rather than take like a 1.5mm depth of cut across the whole thing because there isn't really much point, we can measure out 206mm, because this area here has to come down to 35mm, and we can just take the last 3mm off that when we do the cleanup on this. So this bit here has a fair bit to come down, so we'll keep on going with the 3mm cuts. Okay, I'm going to take one more 3mm depth of cut, then we'll start taking some measurements and just monitor how the thing's going for any taper or whatnot. Okay, quick measure. Well, 1.740, 1.735, so it's a 5 thou taper. Bear in mind, this here is probably the worst setup you could possibly get for heavy 6mm cuts off the diameter. It's a number 3 Morse taper and a sleeve. It's an extension centre as well, and it's an old centre. So we will be upgrading to a heavy duty centre for here. So while we've got a bit of material to play with, I'm just going to take a couple of light cuts, 40 thou a millimetre deep. I'm going to take 2 of those and see if it brings it out or reduces it, just so we know how we're travelling when we're getting closer to our final diameter. I'll just do those off camera because it's just, yeah, straight turning. Okay, that's come down to 4 thou, but that was still a millimetre depth, so 2 millimetres, 40 thou the diameter. I'll do a light cut now, probably 20 thou, half a mil in feed. We'll just see what happens. Okay, 1.620. 1.617. So only 3 thou. So I just did a 4 thou cut, so 8 thou off the diameter. So we got 1.613, 1.612, just a couple of tenths under. So now we're down to 1 thou. Really ropey looking finish, isn't it? It's smooth. Looks terrible. Forgotten where I was. 35 for 41. 6 mil, so we'll take 5 mil off. Yeah, you can really feel the toughness when you go to hand feed in that last few thou before, you know, when you disengage your feed. Yeah, she's a bit of tough stuff, this. No wonder we're getting a fair bit of deflection off it, you know, through our centre setup. Okay, yeah, so we've still got 1 millimetre to go to bring this back. 32 mil, we've got to come back for 35, and the rest of this will bring down to 18 millimetre. So I'll do that off camera and bring you back when we're just finishing up the 18 millimetre. Then we've got to cut a thread on it. Just want to cool the part back down. It's nice having a lot of flow through the flood coolant. Okay, we're just coming up on our finishing cut now. So we're 18.505. Um, 18.505. So we've got 0.5 mil to come off to bring it to 18.05. What are we in the middle? Probably about 5 microns up in the middle, so it must be getting a bit of push, bit of deflection. So, yeah, let's take 0.5 millimeters off and we should be there. What I'll probably have to do is I'll take the 5 mil cut, then I'll take a spring cut, and the spring will come out of it about halfway down the bar. Okay, it should be it, finished size. We're hoping for 1805. 1806. 1806. 1805 and 5 microns. Let's just see if our part slips over that. Okay, this is the other part of the tool post. It's actually quite neat on that. The size should have been 18mm and I took it to 1805 just to take up a bit of the slot. The original one is 18. So they have a bit more. There's a little bit of wiggle in it there. I'm actually going to leave it neat. I wanted to leave it neat because there's 4 small screws mount this to the top of the compound slide. So just want to keep any possibility of any movement out of the equation if I can. So no, that's good. We'll let that go. So we'll just finish these 2 diameters down to size. And then we cut our 18mm thread on the end, which will be that. So this has got to come down to 64.6. And we are 65.5. So that's 0.9 to come off the diameter. So this should be there. Oh, that's pretty well close enough. That's about 5 microns above, which is fine. So our next diameter, 35. So we're 35.32. So we need to take 0.32 off that one. This one will take 2 cuts because I didn't go to full depth on that one. I just needed to get the tool cutting to a size. What do we want? 35mm. Okay, so we are 35.25. So we take off 0.25. And we're 0.01 up. Less than half a thou. That'll be fine. Break these edges and we'll get set up for screw cutting. That one's all right. Might go a bit more on that one because it does go up into a recess, and I do want to make sure it does clear any radiuses that may be up inside. Okay. Good. Right, yeah, let's get set up for screw cutting. So far so good with the lathe. I'm still happy. On all our turning, when we were roughing, yeah, we were getting a few thou taper in our roughing stages, but at this stage I'm putting it down to the centre setup. I'm going to get a heavy duty, a good revolving centre for it. Hitting our sizes here, no problem whatsoever, but I was running on our finishing cuts with a dial indicator here because what I was finding, and I was picking it up on the indicator, previous to using the indicator I was having trouble holding you know, 0.01, 0.02 of a millimetre, so sub 1/1007 inch sizes, and it wasn't until I put the indicator on it and I was reading, you know, dialing in my cut, and I was getting about 4 microns of stiction. So you wind your cut in, your lead screw still loaded up, and then once it starts cutting, it relaxes a bit, and your compound, cross slide goes in probably anywhere from it could be 3 or 4 microns. Once it hits 5 microns, then that's 0.01 of a millimetre you're going to lose off your diameter. So everything's all in a good place. So right, we're all set up to cut our thread. I had to angle a compound around just to give us a bit of extra clearance. So we're a bit tight for room with the tailstock there. So I'll blue it up, and we'll need to take a scratch pass. And I just need to check where we come into on our threading dial. According to this, we're cutting a 2.5 millimeter pitch thread, which is here. 15Z, so we have our 15 tooth gear running on the lead screw, and we've got OD and OE. So I'll see how that plans out with OD and E coming in on here. First of all, that's our engagement line, but I have just put a texture line in just prior to that, and that allows me to feel the crest of the thread on the lead screw just before the half nuts drop in. So we'll get a scratch pass done, and then we'll test these 3 engagements. We're cutting 2.5 millimeter pitch thread, and our lead screw is, can't remember or measure, 6 millimeter pitch. So as far as I can remember, this will be the first time since I was an apprentice I've cut a metric thread on a metric lathe, metric lead screw. I normally do metric threads on imperial lathes. So, and this is the first thread that I've ever cut on this lathe. Right, check our pitch. We're looking good there. I'll just try these other numbers. Okay, E's off the list, that doesn't work. There's another E, there's E's, I'll show you. That was a small E, so we'll try a big E. I think I was supposed to go for the big E. Yeah, E's are definitely off the list. So we got O and D. Okay, there's two, I'll show you. So there's two position Ds, this one here, and O, and they're about 120 degrees apart. So they're the only three we can drop in on. Yeah, that was a bit of a different experience with that threading dial. In a long time since I've used anything like that. Okay. Nice fit. Okay, I'll give that a clean up with a file, and then we're just about done. Okay, I just went over with a light rub on everything with a bit of fine emery just to polish it up a little bit. Thread come out beautiful. Not sloppy. Screws all the way up to the shoulder, well, to the end of the thread. So we can take this out of the lathe, and we're going to have to go over to the bandsaw and cut it off and then bring it back and face it off, because I do not have a parting tool set up in this lathe yet. I'm going to get a 4mm parting tool. I'll have to price it up, because my preference would be ISCAR, same as what I normally use, because I know they're bulletproof. Second preference, I would have a look at probably Kennametal. We'll see how we go. Okay, well, that's our stud in all its glory. So we just need to face off the back of it back to 12mm long, and then there's some holes that have to be drilled and counterbored in the back. So what I was tempted to do was put our brand new 3-jaw chuck on and use that, but something's come up, so we'll just face this off in our small lathe. And what's come up is these two bits of round bar here we have to turn into, yeah, this chestnut again. So what we have to make with those two bits of steel is 9 inches of this and 2 of them. So there's this 10 TPI Whitworth thread on the end. So it looks like we're going to be cutting imperial threads on our metric JFMT lathe. Hardly a drama. Sure we'll achieve it without an issue. Okay, we better bring this one to a close here. So we're off to the milling machine next to drill and counterbore our holes. As far as I'm concerned, very happy with the part. The lathe is coming along nicely as we're getting used to it. So, but yeah, we do have to get a decent revolving centre. So, I'll do part 2 as soon as I can, but I'm editing this video. Well, a couple of things have happened recently. My computer kept hassling me with messages to upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11. So, if I had the choice to do that again, I would not do it. I would stick with Windows 10. That's one thing. The editing program I use, Filmora, I would not recommend it to my worst enemy, to tell you the truth. The best editing program that used to be out there was when Windows 7 was going, and they had a free one on that, and that was great. No problems whatsoever. But as usual with computer stuff and IT, when something works very well, they keep changing it and upgrading shit. And I am convinced that these IT people do that just to justify their own existence, to keep them in a job. Now, Filmora just hassled me with messages to upgrade my editing program, and I did that. And what that has happened is, instead of a couple of hours to edit a video, there's 9 hours of editing in this video. It's just killed my computer. So along with the combination of that and the upgrade to Windows 11, I'm sure that's what it is. So I've got to do a bit of investigation on that, and I'm either going to get another computer, and I'm seriously looking at changing editing programs. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll get the rest of the remaining videos out ASAP. We'll get them sorted and see what happens. So wish me luck. Anyway, cheers, thanks for watching, and well, hopefully we'll be able to make another video.